All right, so today is Friday, the 28th of November. Today is the last trading day for the month of November. Good morning to everyone. Morning, Madam Monaji, Mr. Oche, Justin, Okbolu, Akolawale, and every other person, Nelson, Ekpe Ambassador. Good morning to you all. All right, so today we have just one tradable fundamental event today, and it's coming up in the afternoon by 2:30 p.m. Good morning, Prince Davidson and Oladele Esther. So the only tradable event today, fundamental event today, comes up by 2:30 p.m. Now there's German prelim CPI, but it's all day, no specific time has been allocated to that here. That means it can come up anytime whatsoever during the course of the trading day today. But then the one for 2:30 p.m. is fixed. That's the gross domestic product from Canada. I will just look at a couple of card pairs to show us what to expect. Though in the afternoon analysis session, that will even be more taken care of. So let's just go straight to the charts and look at the technical setup I have for today. Yesterday afternoon analysis, I shared with us my outlook on Euro CHF, and it's going according to plan, though it's taking us some time to form, but then steadily the reversal pattern is getting clearer on this instrument. If you missed that session, no problem. I'll just do a little recap. My analysis yesterday was we have a downtrend on the Euro CHF on the daily time frame. Price is making a lower high, a lower high, a lower high, and we have a resistance level up there which coincides with this point, which now becomes our confluence. That's where the trend line and the resistance is meeting. So technically that is giving us a probability of a downward movement on the Euro CHF on the daily time frame. Now, if you flip down to the 1 hour time frame, I remember showing us yesterday afternoon that I was expecting the formation of a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder, then a breakout. When we had the analysis yesterday afternoon, price was just somewhere around here. But then I already gave a forecast that I was seeing a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder, then we'll see a massive drop. Now that is clearer now because the second shoulder between yesterday and this morning it has already formed. Now, the only thing we're waiting for now is this neckline region, that rectangle box. We need a new candle to clearly open below it. Then we'll see the fall on the Euro CHF. That's why trading is a game of patience. Now, RSI also needs to cross below 50. RSI is already at 41, which is good. MACD also has crossed below 0. These are all indication of this potential bearish breakout. So the only thing we're waiting for now is a new candle to open below that rectangle, and we'll see the crash on the Euro CHF. And that means we just expecting price to move an average of some 10 pips, and the new candle opens below that neckline region to trigger itself. So we still remain bearish on the Euro CHF. Just watch it closely in the course of today. And I think that's it yesterday. Let me just try to look. I think I also gave my outlook on the GBP CHF. Let's see if that is still valid also. GBP CHF is having similar setup to what we saw on the Euro CHF. Price is trending downwards on the daily time frame. Lower high, again, a third lower high. And what even made this one to be of a higher probability is the fact that we have a scenario of a support turned resistance. So this region here is our confluence from where we're expecting a drop to the downside. So we can flip to 1 hour. The only difference is that this one is not having a head and shoulder like we saw on the Euro CHF, but nonetheless, the important thing is the direction of where the market is expected to go. So this one is having a falling wedge on the 1 hour time frame. Now, once a new candle opens below that support on resistance, just around this area, A new candle below this area will be getting ready for a sell. RSI also is already below 50. MACD is about to cross below zero. So the GBCHF also is getting ready for that bearish breakout. We just need some pips of a new candle to open below the support zone. We're just some 10, 11 pips away, just a new candle altogether below that level, and we'll see a bearish movement on the GBP CHF. So we're bearish on both Euro CHF and the GBP CHF. I'm also bearish on the Euro JPY. I'm bearish on the Euro JPY, and this is my reason. Now, on the daily time frame, price, if you followed my analysis at the beginning of the week, I said there was a psychological level here. That's 182.000. Then a head and shoulder is forming here, which will lead to a breakout downwards, to the downside rather. Those are two reasons for a bearish outlook. Then the third one is the price, came quite close. Okay, let me get that psychological level again. That's a little 186. 182. Okay. So I think the psychological level is a distance away, but there's a new resistance formed on the daily time frame, so we should work more with that. So price touched the tip of the resistance. There's a valid resistance here, and price touched the tip, so that is expected to lead to a bearish movement. So a resistance, a head and shoulder, and we're expecting a bearish movement on the Euro JPY. So I'll take it down to 1 hour time frame. Now, the 1 hour time frame, this is what I'm seeing. I'm expecting I just drew a trend line alone because that's what can work for now. Even if I add the second one at the back, well, it still gives me a rising wedge. But ultimately, what I'm looking out for is a breakout below the trend line here to trigger a sell on the Euro JPY. While at the same time, I'll also not ignore a minor support that is, the shadows of the candles I can see there. So once a new candle breaks out below that level there, we should see a sell on Euro JPY. RSI is at 50, but at that point it's be lower than 50 and possibly MACD below zero. And from there we can see a sell on the Euro JPY. So we're bearish on the Euro JPY. I'm also bearish on the NZD JPY. You can see I'm giving two for each of them, for the CHF, Euro CHF, GBP CHF, for the JPY, Euro JPY, and the NZD JPY. Now we looked at this NZD JPY yesterday, and even as at now, it's still valid. That's a resistance up there on the daily time frame. We have price hitting a resistance on the daily time frame, and on the 1 hour, we are going to be looking out for a reversal. So that's a rising wedge. Let's take it down to 30 minutes and confirm further. All right, so on the 30-minute time frame, we can clearly see that price has broken out below the lower trend line of the rising wedge, but notwithstanding, we need a clear break. So we'll have the recent low forming a minor support up there. Price is currently retesting the trend line. Once the new candle breaks out below this minor support zone, we will see a fall on the NZD JPY on the 30-minute time frame. So we're bearish on NZDJPY on the 30-minute time frame. And finally, our analysis from yesterday on the AUD USD is still very, very valid. So this is the AUD USD. Yesterday we saw, let me take it up a little. So we can see price is trending downwards, lower high, lower high, lower high. And today's candle, the candle for yesterday tested it, and today's candle is testing it also. So we're expecting a downward movement. And I think there's a resistance also. Yeah, the tip of the resistance box is touching that side. So this region becomes our confluence. This is our confluence point where the trend line and the resistance meet. So we're expecting a downward movement on the AUD USD. All right, so we can flip down to 1 hour time frame. Okay, now from all indication, it's going to be difficult to draw a trend line on this one. But what I'll be looking out for is this minor support here. So no trend line on this, but if price is able to break out below, because this region here can as well count for like a double top from my view there. So if a new candle opens below the support zone, then we'll see a bearish movement. RSI is already below 50, MACD is already below 0. So we just need to wait for a clear breakout below that minor support zone to trigger a sell on the AUD USD. All right, that'll be all from analysis this morning. I've analyzed about 5 instruments. I'll start with the Euro CHF. I'm bearish on the Euro CHF on 1 hour. I'm bearish on the GBP CHF. I added that one. GBP CHF on 1 hour. I'm bearish on the NZD-JPY on 30 minutes. I'm bearish on Euro-JPY on 1 hour. I'm bearish on AUD-USD also on 1 hour. Oh, and I almost omitted one, and that is gold. I was looking at gold earlier on, and this is my outlook on gold. Now, gold hits a resistance level on the daily time frame. All right, so price hit the resistance. We have a resistance here, a resistance here. So technically, overall, we might be looking out for a bearish movement on gold, but then let's just get our confirmations clearly. That's the daily time frame. On the 4 hour, you can see the last 4 hour candle just went up straight to hit the resistance. But then on the 1 hour time frame, there is a little bit of an information here. We have a rising wedge pattern and this rejection candle. Now that rejection candle could push price up to retest the resistance again, and if that happens, it might end up forming a double top pattern, which might now lead to that bearish movement that we anticipate, on gold. Let me just check on 30 minutes also. Still valid. With that rejection candle, price might push up to hit the resistance a second time, from where we may now expect a breakout. Now, like I said, I hold a bearish outlook, but if it works out like this, hit the resistance, form a double top, by the time price is breaking downwards to touch the neckline, you may look at taking a sell on gold if price breaks out below the neckline because they expected to start selling from there. But if you miss the opportunity, then your second entry will be when it breaks out below the trend line. So overall, we are bearish on gold on 30 minutes or 1 hour time frame, depending on the one that works best for you. All right, so that'll be all from my end this morning. Okay, so I'm seeing some requests here. Mr. Echo Ambassador is asking that I check USD CHF, AUD, I believe you mean AUD JPY, Prince Davidson, US 30, US oil, gold. I just analyzed gold. Oladele Esther, AUD card, Prince Davidson, USD JPY. All right, so let's start from USD CHF and the AUD JPY. So let's check those two first. Now, my initial outlook on the dollar at the beginning of the week, that's the dollar index, was a bearish movement. And reason is because price closed last week at a resistance level on the daily and the weekly time frame. And when we started the week, today is Friday, this is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. We had these two rejection candles at the resistance level, which, was an indication of a bearish movement. However, on Wednesday, I began to look at the market with a closer, with more caution, let me put it that way, because price, even though it dropped as analyzed, but then it was touching the trend line, which is higher low, higher low, higher low. And I said we may have possibly, some retracement. It's possible. And yesterday we had some minor retracement on the dollar. All right. So with that in view, let's now check our USD CHF. Now for USD CHF, my outlook at the beginning of the week is price dropping after hitting this trend line, which already happened. We saw some slight movement to the downside. But then currently we can see that yesterday candle was a bullish candle. Will today also be bullish? Let's go over to the lower time frame. Overall trend is bearish, you know, it's bearish. But then let's check. On the 4 hour, we can see it's not a clear one, but this might be forming what looks like. If it's going to sell, then this is going to be a head and shoulder pattern. And we might be looking at the neckline. Okay, the rectangle may not work. This will be the neckline region. Now, but then there should be a caution here because today is Friday. Sometimes on Friday, market may not go as planned. Volatility might often be very, very slow. So if you're trading any major pairs today, please trade with a lot of caution. Now, I will hold on to a bearish outlook on this USDCHF provided price breaks out below this neckline region for a downward movement. Otherwise, because of the end of week, and also, today is not just end of week alone. Today is end of month. Today is the last trading day for the month. So please, everybody, please listen to this. Get ready for some erratic movements in the market today, especially in the afternoon. So please trade with caution in the afternoon. If you don't have anything tangible doing in the market in the afternoon, please just stay out. Afternoon, I mean from 12:30, 1:30, thereabout upwards. If you don't have any trade that you are sure of, please just stay out of the market. Sometimes there could be some wild moves to end the month. If it goes your way, it truly could lead to some good profit. But if it goes against you, it can put your account at risk. So please trade with caution, especially in the afternoon today. So for the USD CHF, I would say I'm looking at more of a long-term sell and possibly a short-term buy. That's if the volatility in the market is not strong enough to drive the market downwards, we may see some retracement. So that's my view on the USD CHF. And the other person, okay, same person is asking me to check AUD JPY. All right, so this is AUDJPY on the daily time frame. Now, from what I can see here, okay, let me go to a bigger one first. Okay, on the monthly time frame, price is touching a previous resistance level, which is this area. So let's check the weekly if it's still valid. Um, all right, you can see that that monthly resistance is very, very much valid, even on the weekly time frame. Those are two high levels. And we still have one here also. So it's established that price is at a resistance level on the monthly and the weekly time frame. Price already hit that level, so we're expecting a reversal. So let's just confirm with our daily. So recently price hit it. Today it has not hit it, but in recent times price hit that level on the daily time frame. So if you want to look at what works for now, we'll draw a second resistance which is touching that previous resistance and today's candle. So we still have a valid resistance, even if it's just on daily time frame. But overall trend, both from the monthly to the weekly to the daily, is bearish. So on 1 hour, this is what we have. Price hit that resistance. Now it's now how to capture our entry that is the issue. We're not having a clear cut like a trend line breakout like we always do. Okay, I think we have something. Though not as perfect as I would have loved it to be. But we still have a rising wedge. Still okay. Now don't forget that we're bearish on the Euro JPY and the NZD JPY. Usually NZD JPY is most of the time positively correlated with the AED JPY. So if NZD JPY is going to sell, this one too will likely sell. But I don't like to just do assumption. From what we can see, it's actually bearish with price hitting that resistance from the monthly to the daily time frame. However, our entry will depend on when price breaks out below this lower trend line. Now, a lot could happen here. Price may go up before the breakout, or we may just see an outright breakout. But watch this closely. We are bearish on the AUD JPY. All right, US 30 US oil. US 30 is labeled as DJ30 on our platform, so please take note. Now, this is my view for DJ30. I still checked this last night. We have a rising wedge pattern, valid on the daily time frame, and we're also seeing the formation of a head and shoulder pattern. So we may be expecting a drop. Now, I will advise you trade this instrument with a lot of caution because it can be extremely very volatile. Now, since this is likely going to be our second shoulder, this will be my view. If price is able to go up to test the resistance, it's quite close. Let's go to 1 hour time frame. All right. So if price is able to find its way up to hit this region, then we're going to see a sharp drop. We may also want to use that trend line I just drew to get a clearer and safer entry. So we have a rising wedge. So if price goes to hit this resistance, and this may even end up now looking like a head and shoulder, then that will lead to a drop. So we are bearish on the DJ30 or US30, but then we anticipate that price will first go up to hit the resistance and possibly the trend line before the bearish breakout takes place. So we're bearish on the DJ30 or US30. US oil. Now the tip of this candle touched that support zone, and that's why I can see there was a minor range and the price is getting ready to move to the upside. All that is on the daily time frame. This is the 4 hour. This is 1 hour. Now a close look on this 4 hour is giving us a double bottom pattern, which may trigger price at least to this trend line up there. But then if we take it down to 1 hour, we'll see the neckline region. Now this is a double bottom, but then usually when we have double bottom patterns, we need price to break out above the neckline for us to make an entry. And price is just trading around that neckline area. So we need a new candle. In fact, price is back to the tip of the neckline. So if this current candle, if by the next 1 hour candle, a new candle is able to open above this line, you can trigger a buy and target the trend line up there. So we're bullish on the US oil. AUD card. All right, so this is AUD card on the weekly time frame. We can see an overall bearish outlook on the AUD card. Price is making a series of lower high, and that third region is a lower high also. However, there is a range. Price is ranging seriously around that particular axis there. That's on the weekly. So let's take it to the daily. Now on the daily, let me zoom it out again. We can also clearly see that this area here is a resistance between these two set of candlesticks. So this is a resistance which is confirmed there. Technically, we'll be expecting a downward movement on the AUD card. So we'll take it down to 1 hour. This is a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder, and a breakout. RSI is already below 50. It's at 47. Now, if a new candle opens below this the low, this current low, you can trigger a sell on the AUD card. Maybe by the next 1 hour candle or the one after. Once a new candle can break below this low, you are free to trigger a sell on the AUD card. We're bearish on the AUD card. USD JPY and BTC USD. From the beginning of the week, I've been bearish on the USD JPY, though the whole week it just refused to move downwards. This is the USD JPY. This is the weekly time frame. You can see that the candle for last week closed touching the tip of that resistance. So that resistance is still very, very much valid. That's on the weekly. Let's go down to the daily. Four-hour. Price is ranging presently. Now, one or two things could happen. Price may go up on a short term or break out long term in the bearish direction. We have a short term buy and a longer term sell on the USD JPY. BTC USD. BTC is in an uptrend because of this rejection candle, but then there is a support here which might turn to resistance if price gets there. Okay, I think I gave this analysis yesterday. Is the analysis still valid for BTC? Price is expected to hit this region where it forms a confluence. You know, it's on a downtrend here. So it now have a confluence between the support on resistance and the trend line. So if price shoots up and it hits this region, we'll be expecting a downward movement on BTC. So this is what I'm saying. This is the 1 hour side to it. Price goes up, then it breaks out downwards. We can draw our trend line to capture the movement. So that's my view. A slight bullish movement then, but our focus should be on the sell side to it, because that upward movement may just be very short, but then what we're looking out for is the breakout downwards. So we're bearish on BTC USD. All right, that'll be the end of the analysis this morning. Don't forget to join us in the afternoon by 12:30 p.m., especially to know what to do regarding the card news that will be released by 2:30 p.m. Do take care and have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, sir. We are very grateful.